Welcome back. Are you trying to reach a goal, but you feel like you're subconsciously sabotaging yourself? Well, if that's how you feel, then this video is for you. Today, I'm going to share with you how to reprogram your subconscious mind. All right, welcome back. I wanted to share with you today how to reprogram your subconscious mind. I am super passionate about this topic simply because I have gone through life honestly feeling like I've been self-sabotaging myself. So at times I would feel like there's something that I really wanted to do, but then I always felt like I would sabotage that effort. So let me tell you and give you an example and tell you a story so that you can kind of understand what I'm talking about. So for example, when I had just graduated college, I actually went to college twice. The first time I went for an undergraduate Spanish degree, and the second time I went for an undergraduate finance degree. Now, the first time I went to school, I wasn't really thinking about what I wanted to do with my college degree. I just knew that I wanted to have a degree, and I was told that if you go to college, you'll make more than someone who doesn't go to college. So I said, well, I guess I better go to college. And I chose my degree by default. I chose the Spanish degree simply because it was something that I enjoyed and something that, I love the culture, the language, the food, and all of that. So I was like, okay, Spanish degree is great. And then worst case scenario, I'll just teach Spanish or I'll become a teacher or whatever it is. But I didn't really have like an actual plan for it. And when I got out of college, I realized that I didn't want to teach Spanish. So I didn't want to translate it. There wasn't really much that I wanted to do with that degree. So I decided to go back to college. And this is where I felt like I could start recognizing how I was sabotaging or self-sabotaging my efforts, because I graduated with a finance degree the second time around. And as soon as I graduated, I actually graduated into the Great Recession. So the time that I graduated was May of 2010. So we were 2 years off of that first dip. The economy was not doing very well. People were laying off people in finance. Like if you had a finance career and you'd been in it for a while, you're probably good. But if you had recently got your job, you probably were laid off. If you had been in your job for a very long time where, maybe they felt like they could replace you with someone who was inexpensive, you probably were getting laid off. And if you were a recent graduate, you definitely were not getting hired. However, I did get an offer directly out of college with the company that I had been interning with. And what happened was I got the offer, I looked at the salary amount, and I felt like, wow, I should be getting paid more because I have a finance degree. And I turned down the offer. Now, it might seem like that was a good decision just based on how when you first get into your career, you're supposed to take on a position that, sets you up for the next job. And if you start at a low salary, you're likely going to sabotage your salary for the rest of your career. But that's not really what was going on in my case. What was going on in my case is that I had graduated into the recession and I needed to take on almost whatever job that I could find. But I felt like there was like something that was holding me back from just saying yes to that. And there were all these little decisions. And long story short, as I continued to look at that decision and look back at that and other decisions that I had made, I realized that I was like sabotaging certain parts of my life that would allow me to see better success. And I don't know if you've ever felt this way or if you've ever like actually looked at the decisions that you made and started to think like, well, if I hadn't made that decision, then this thing could have happened. Or maybe I made that decision and sabotaging my efforts. If you've ever felt like that, then I can relate because it's something that I've gone through as well. And there came a time where I decided, okay, I've got to start making decisions based on what's right for me and not sabotaging myself by saying no to something that's literally falling right into my lap. And so what I realized was that I was having an issue with my subconscious mind. Like my conscious mind would want to do one thing, but my subconscious mind would want to do a different thing. So let me explain kind of the difference between the conscious and subconscious mind so that we can make sure we're on the same page. Your conscious mind controls around 5% of your, daily day-to-day activities. It's what I'm doing to actually say the words. Like I'm thinking of what words I want to say, and then I'm saying those words. Typically when you make a decision, your conscious mind is doing that. If you're daydreaming and thinking about the past, or you're thinking about the future, your conscious mind is doing that. And your conscious mind processes information relatively slowly versus and in comparison to your subconscious mind. Your subconscious mind controls around 95% of what you do on a day-to-day. That's what's required to breathe, swallow, blink, move your hands, your body, like everything that you're doing, all the processes that happen in your body, you don't actually have to consciously think about that. It's happening because your subconscious mind is operating it. And your subconscious mind processes information way faster than your conscious mind. And it has to, because it's got all these things that it needs to do and all these things that it needs to process. And so what happens is if you feel like you're sabotaging your results because there's a thing that your conscious mind decides, but your subconscious mind is not on board with it, well, you might actually sabotage that process, and you might actually do something not really consciously realizing that you're doing it because your subconscious mind is not on board. For example, if you consciously decide, I am going to do better with money and I'm going to start saving money, and this is the year that I get out of debt and I do the things that I'm supposed to do with my finances. But subconsciously, your subconscious mind believes that I'm not worth it, or I am not the type of person who is a get out of debt person, like I'm comfortable with debt or whatever. When you try to do those things consciously to help you get on the right path financially, your subconscious mind is going to continue replaying the same story, and you'll end up sabotaging your efforts. There suddenly will be some huge emergency that like all of your funds will go away, or you'll see something that you want to buy and you'll think in your head, well, I should just buy that because I'll be able to make the money back later. And so the things that you do that you think you're doing on a conscious level is really based on what your subconscious mind believes and what your subconscious mind is, that story that your subconscious mind is playing. So with that said, how do you get your conscious mind and your subconscious mind to meet together and do the things that you want them to do, that your conscious mind wants to do, so your subconscious mind wants to do it, and they're all on the same page? And I love talking about this topic. I recently became a psych-k facilitator, and so part of that process is understanding how the subconscious mind works and how we can get it on board with the things that we want to do in our lives and things we want to create in our lives. And I do have another video talking all about my experience at the psych-k weekend workshop and my experience becoming a psych-k facilitator. So you should definitely check that video out if you haven't already. All right. So with that said, how do I reprogram my subconscious mind? What I've done in the past is a couple things. The first thing that I would do is I'll get on board with my subconscious via activity. So for example, if you write the same word over and over and over again, do you ever notice how that word starts to look a little weird? Like if, for example, you were to write the word play over and over and over and over and over, eventually it wouldn't really look like the word play. It would look really weird. Well, what's happening? What's happening is your subconscious mind is looking at that word and is starting to interpret it as the action. Strange, I know, but that's essentially what's happening. So when you look at it, your conscious mind is not really seeing it. It's your subconscious mind that's seeing it, and it's seeing it as the action of actually writing, and rewriting it. So let's say you were to write a sentence like, I make good money decisions, and you write that sentence over and over and over and over again. Your subconscious mind is doing the action of doing that writing. And eventually, even as you look at it, you will start to see something different. And if you give me 1 second, I'm going to show you my notebook where I've written down the same statement over and over and over again. And I want to show you what this looks like. All right. So this is one of my journals. This is one that I've used a couple of times, and I'm going to open it. I'm just going to flip through it really quickly so that you can see how often I wrote this one phrase. I don't know if you can see it in there, but it's pretty much the entire book has been written over and over again with 3 money mantras that I wanted to incorporate into my subconscious mind. My first was, money comes to me easily and frequently. My second was, my savings grow daily. And the third was, people love to give me money. And I wrote this over and 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 over again. Around 15 times a day, I wrote all 3 of them. And that was one thing that helped me to reprogram my subconscious mind. Some people call it scripting or writing out what it is that you want. That's how I did it. I got that from a mentor of mine, a mindset mentor who helped me to hit my very first 5-figure month. And I wrote my 3 money mantras over and over and over again. And that really worked and really helped me. The second thing that I do is feel an emotion along with the thought that I want to create, along with that new belief that I want to create. So if there's a new belief that I want to create, like people love to give me money, then I would create an emotion along with that or feel an emotion along with that. My best emotions are when I'm really excited or if I'm dancing, like I feel I've got a lot of energy. I feel really good. So I might do something like have a dance party and say people love to give me money and like create a song with it and just like start dancing around and really enjoy myself. For me, part of my manifestation process is body movement, is dancing, and really getting that energy flowing around me. And I did create a video on how to create your very own manifestation process, so be sure to check that one out as well. So that's the second thing that I do in order to reprogram, or one of the things that I do in order to reprogram my subconscious mind, which is create and feel a very strong emotion along with the new belief that I want to create in my body. And another way, and the final way that I'm going to share with you guys today of how I reprogram my subconscious mind is listen to audio while I sleep. So I actually have a pair of headphones that it's like a headband headphone, and I'll show you guys in just a second, but I'll put it up on the screen now. It's a headband headphone, and what I do is I have certain audios that I have saved on my phone inside of my files, and I will play that file. I have those headphones on, and as I go to sleep, I'm listening to those words. I'm listening to that content, and I'm allowing that to reprogram my subconscious mind. The reason that this works is because your subconscious is most active and most impressionable during that phase right before you go to sleep and right when you're about to wake up. It's called a state of theta. It's when your brain waves are in a theta state. So you've got your alpha brain waves, your beta brain waves, your theta and delta. Delta is like you're a vegetable or you're in that deep, deep, deep sleep where you're that paralyzed sleep where you're not moving at all. And that theta brainwave state is like right before you drift off to sleep. It's also, if you've ever had like a lucid dream where you kind of feel like you can control it, but you're also still relatively asleep, that's essentially you're in that theta brainwave state. And so as I'm falling to sleep and I'm getting into that state and I'm listening to this content, it's allowing me to purposefully reprogram my subconscious mind. Now, the final way, and this is a bonus way, because I did tell you that 3 was the final, but the bonus way, and one that I've recently discovered and recently learned about, was using the psych-k process in order to reprogram a subconscious belief. And honestly, I will say that this has been the strongest change and one that has produced the strongest results for me. And like I said, I do have a video that talks about my entire experience. But the reason that I feel like this is the strongest is because it produces an immediate change. And it's not something that I need to write 15 times over the course of 30 days or something that I need to listen to every single time at night. It was just like an automatic change. And I saw results like literally right away. And if you watch the video, I'll explain a little bit more in there about the things that happened in my life and my business. So you can see what happened as a result of becoming a psych-k facilitator and going to the basic workshop. What things do you do in order to reprogram your subconscious mind? Are there specific things that you do as far as writing? Do you do things or movement with your body or emotion? What questions do you have about this? I would love to get the conversation started with you. So definitely leave me a comment down below. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to like, subscribe. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Okay, bye.